morning, everybody. I got Leo Alcazar over here with Remax Champions. How's it going over there, bro?
It's going good, man. Just hanging in here.
I know. I mean, it's difficult, but it's something we got to go through. And I don't think we've never gone through any kind of a period like this. So that's really hard to adjust, you know. And
Definitely.
you've been in the industry for how long now?
Well, I've been in the industry since 2005, late 2004.
Okay,
So
you
yeah.
were in the last. You've seen the last crash, and then this one is just a little bit. I wouldn't say
And,
crash yet, but it's.
and here's the funny part is people are always asking me, of course, when's the market going to crash and all this stuff. And I always tell them, I go, listen, the last time it crashed, my dog could have gotten a loan for $500,000.
This is true. This is true. Back in those days, they were giving out loans like candy. Yeah.
And then I go, the only way I see it, there's some crazy, weird, and I said this in January, some crazy economic weird thing that happens where everyone starts losing their job. I go, I don't see that happening. I obviously always got to protect myself. Say, I don't predict the future.
Yeah.
Bam, this happens, and I'm just like, oh my God,
Your crystal ball works.
and not in a good way.
I know, right? Like, thanks, buddy.
So I got to close a couple deals, and I got a couple buyers that are like, hey, what's going to happen? And a couple of them are in the food industry, and I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, call me if you need me. Any programs come out, I'll be the first one to help you out with that. Do your stimulus thing, blah blah blah, and just keep going forward. You know what I mean?
Right. So, like, what kind of questions? I mean, right now that you're seeing, like, when it comes to like a buyer, what is their, are you still finding that our buyers are out there right now looking?
Yes, I do have a few buyers, and the buyers that I have right now are all pretty much waiting for prices to go down. I want to say 20 to 30%,
Really?
or they're trying to offer low ball. I got a $1.1 million fourplex, and the guy's like, let's offer 900, that kind of stuff. So I'm just, and I go out there, throw it out there, because I have had a buyer. Property was listed at 650. We got it for 550, 100 grand less.
Really?
Yes.
Was there something wrong with the property?
No, I'm telling you, it's weird. Either you hang on to it. If you're a seller, you hang on to it till you get your price, or you negotiate a little bit, or if you got to get rid of it, you got to get rid of it. So it's
right.
Market's always going to be moving no matter what. There's always going to be that buyer, that seller. You know what I mean? And we just got to kind of figure out where it goes. And I did have like 7 escrows fall out.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Ouch, that stinks.
Ended. I had the buyer, I had the seller, that kind of stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Moved from Palm Springs all the way down here to La Puente. So I didn't lose the client, but they were just like, hold up, put the brakes on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just, okay, let's see what happens. But I have others that are just going through. Boom, 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 boom. So, I mean, I'm just here to service and help, and that's what I'm doing.
Right. That's all you can do. What about you got any listings, any sellers? I mean, what are their attitudes right now?
Well, I have a few listings. Like I have one in La Habra. We listed it right around market value when I listed it about 20 days ago, 30 days ago. And honestly, I haven't had very much activity on it at all. I have another one on a main street. I get calls on that one all the time. I had to take a sign down on another one in Montclair because I was getting a ton of calls on that one. So it's just weird, the area, depending on the traffic it gets, and and I have everything, of course, on all over the internet, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, all that stuff. It all pops on there, and it's just, I just tell my client, you got to wait. We'll wait till the thing recovers. Maybe give it a couple days, 30 days. If you want to put it on hold, you put it on hold. But otherwise, it's up to them.
Right. What about any new sellers? Because I kind of coming up to that where they're all like, I want to wait, But then
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about doing, calls, and I like their way of their approach to it was, well, if you wait till when this is over, then basically you are going to be in the pool of competition when everybody decides to put their house on the market.
Right.
And I was like, that's pretty genius. I'm like, so sell it now, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, property's always going to be moving no matter what. I mean, there's a lot of money out there still, you know, and it just all depends on, pretty much what I've noticed before this whole thing took a dump a little bit or slowed down, I should say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's certain price range, you know what I mean? Affordable price range from like high threes to mid fives. It's everything's still popping. Boom, 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 gone. Because people could afford that still,
Right.
But and then I started noticing like in the 700-800 range, it kind of started tapering off a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I think the peak for that was January 2018. That's what I've noticed. And then so it was tapering off, not dropping, not crashing. I kind of saw it just hold off, property in that area and that value would last a little bit longer on the market, stuff like that. So for right now, you want to sell? I mean, I got listings that are gonna go into escrow. I got, stuff that's on hold. I got stuff that's no activity. So all depends, you know what I mean?
It's
List it
there.
right, and sell.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
going back to your crystal ball, and remember back in the days in 2008, it was usually a high end. When they slow down, that's an indication of the rest is going to start to slow down.
Right.
So you're right about that mid range from the high 300s to 500. You're seeing a lot more activity. So as an agent, I would probably, I mean, would you advise, hey, man, that's probably where you got to start like looking at?
Yeah, well, all depends on what I don't know, like basically what's their future gonna look like in the next 5 or 10 years. You know what I mean? Like I have this couple that wanted to buy in Chino Hills, and I'm like, you know what? There's no way you're gonna be able to. I mean, just between they don't know who I'm talking about, but between us, like you can't afford it. You know what I mean? Like you can't afford Chino Hills. You got to go out a little bit. Well, this and my family's over here, and the dog park. I go, still, we got to go out more. So sure enough, we went out more. We found a great house for them, and they moved in. They're happy. All they got to do is wait 5 or 6 years. I'm thinking, I hope my crystal ball works. And then we sell that thing and bam, get them back over here. You know what I mean? Like, and they're a young couple, so you know, we'll see what happens. I'll
So,
keep you
so it
posted.
can work. All right. You figure it out any which way you can. So how are you dealing with like, well, obviously it sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders right now of what you're doing. I mean, have you changed your tactics when it comes to marketing and trying to
I've been actually doing some mailers. I've been doing a lot
old
of
school?
yeah, just a normal cheese ball, honest flyer. Hey, I'm here to help. Call me. I'll try to either figure out send you to my modification gal, or we can do like a reverse mortgage if that's sending to my lender, or we have to sell it if you have equity. You know what I mean? Or short sale it, whatever. So I'm doing a lot of those. They're starting to pop up more because back in the short sale day, like 2008, 2009, that's what I started doing. That's how I started getting business.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I still have those same clients that I have recouped and bought from back in the day, and I don't know, it's just something to, keep ahead of the game, kind of keep, one step ahead or at least a foot in the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
You
there's only so much you can depend on your own circle, because eventually that just it does branch out with referrals, but
Yeah.
stuff
But
like
it sounds
this.
like you got a good good network base. Isn't that important to have that? That way you have multiple resource leads.
Yes, definitely, definitely. All my stuff is through my. I have pens. I have a pencil with my big old head on them, with my phone number. Okay, and that's all I pass out. I don't do. I mean, I don't do any marketing. I hardly do any advertising, any of that stuff. I spend about, I don't know, $1,500 on pens, and all the restaurants around here that were open, they all had my stuff. Everyone's like sending me a picture. Hey, I'm signing my bill with your pen. Hey, I see your pen. Hey, I'm using your pen. It's a funny thing, but at the same time, it seems to just be out there, my name in my head, and just
So
don't be.
wait. So I get a pin. Do you have one of those pins?
Yeah, look.
So I want to see like the head.
See that?
Oh yeah.
See?
Right on. Okay. All right.
So, plus I know a lot of people around here. I grew up around here, so everyone kind of knows who I am. And as the, messing around, always joking around. But then when it comes down to, hey, this, I get serious, you know what I mean? And start doing my homework and figure out what I can do to help them and stuff. But that's about it, man.
Right. Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, obviously, everybody's like uncomfortable right now with, what's going on and stuff like that. And how important do you think, like, for other agents to realize they've got to start adjusting with what they're doing?
Yeah, for agents that are, I want to say new in the business, I want to give them, I don't know, a little insight, I guess. My dad, when I started this business, I had 2 kids. They were young. I had just gotten laid off. I got another job. I hated it, stuff like that. And I had a buddy, my title guy, actually. He's like, you got to do real estate. You got to do real estate. And I'm, I need a paycheck, all that stuff. He's like, you got to do this. You got to do this. So I pretty much quit, okay, my jobs. And I just went into an office and I started telemarketing. My dad was like, it's going to take you at least 10 years to get your, all your, basically everything established where you're not, and he was almost right on, dude. His crystal ball was almost right on. Okay. Cause it was like up and down, and I'd make great money a couple months in a row, and then like boom, boom, boom. And then, the rate would go up, and then the market turned around in 2008. That was when I had 2007, 2008, I got a job at Costco working in the freezers. I started stringing rackets, because I play racquetball, and I started, just basically hustling just to feed my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I go to the office and grind all day and just make phone calls, and phone was ringing off the hook, and I couldn't do anything because the banks weren't lending, and it was weird. So then I started learning how to do short sales, and I started doing all the paperwork for short sales of other agents, and and then it came up again, and here we are now. You know what I mean? Like, so, and things have been pretty good for me for the past 5 years. And I just want to say, just keep trucking, man. To these new guys or people that are struggling, keep going forward. You got to do your side job. You got to do something inside. I didn't tell anybody what I was doing, but I had to feed my family. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to do this job part time. You know what I mean? It really is, I think. So by just like kind of like getting up at 4 a.m, doing your job at 4 a.m, getting off at 10, boom, going to the office. That helped me, keep going forward. I didn't tell very many people what I was doing because I wanted them to know I was full-time agent and that they would always have my attention. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if they need me, my phone was always on. So that's how I did that for a couple of years, and then came up again, and here it goes.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've done the same thing. I've had a part-time job while doing real estate, and I remember doing those days. It's just something you had to do. So.
Yeah. So then, basically now I have my son. He's 19. He's in bed right now, dude. Okay. When he could be doing this shit, I could be getting him $15 an hour, but he wants to be a lazy bum, whatever. I don't give him any money. But anyways.
Well, he is 19, so.
Oh, really, man. I had the same thing.
Right? Sure, your mom was probably, you had a bed on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
My mom used to turn on the music and then the vacuum. Oh. Yeah, those were their days, man. I remember that. So, yeah, man. I mean, if there's anything else out there that you think agents could benefit, wait a minute. Since you mentioned modifications, you think those are going to come back? If we,
they've never really gone away.
Really, they're still around.
They're still around. You just gotta, honestly, I try to do them myself, and it's it's a pain in the neck, man.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you're always
It's hard. It's hard to get that formula down. It's hard to know what the banks want. But if you have somebody good and they know what they're doing, it's either they can do it or they can't do it. And her name is Maria. She'll tell me yes or no. You know what I mean? If she can do it, she'll tell me, yeah, he's good, or no, he can't. It's not going to work. You got to do something else, you know? So then from there, I tell them, here, this is the deal, blah, blah, blah. And then usually people try to keep their home and all that stuff. I understand, you know, they're
yeah,
attached to it. But from what I've seen is when people finally let go, it's, you know, their grays go away, their hair
yeah,
grows back. You know, what I mean? It's a stressful thing to try to keep something that you just can't hold on to, man. It's hard, and you know, the benefit is you know, your health, and you know, might get cash for keys, you might get a little bit of money out of your equity, and you know, figure something out. Give it 3 or 4 years, and boom, knock it out again. You know,
yeah.
fix your credit, and you know,
Exactly. I
that's
don't think some people don't look at the rainbow or the sunshine at the end of the road.
yeah,
And you know, I was having this conversation the other day. This whole forbearance thing. You know, it's a forbearance where they're basically prolonging your loan. They're not necessarily forgiving your loan. So this 6 months that you're being, you know, the forbearance for, you're gonna owe that on a balloon payment after this is over.
right,
So if you rack up like 9 G's of like missed payment mortgage payments, you're gonna owe that all in one bite. And a lot
right,
of people I
yeah,
don't think realize uh, that that's what's gonna happen.
yeah,
You know, and then you're gonna see a lot of people start going into default because of this. It's gonna push them back.
yeah. It's like a never-ending cycle. You know what I mean? Like it's like we have I have a couple credit cards, my business card and my wife's card that they're like, hey, you know, if you want, you know, we'll give you a couple, you know, months, whatever. But we're like, nope, you know what I mean? Pay that thing, or at least pay the minimum or some of it, and just, you know, get out of it, you know, because we don't want any of that to come back and bite us in the ass later on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
you know, that's if you can afford it, pay it. If you can't, I understand. You know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but if you can afford it, don't take advantage of the system that they're trying to help, even though, you know, I would just bite the bullet and take care of it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not spending any money anyways, you're staying home.
This is true. He's not driving nowhere.
You
Yeah.
know?
Right on, Leo. I really appreciate your time, man, for coming on
Yeah.
board.
Thank you.
All
Peace.
right. Peace, bro.
Have a good one. Stay safe.